Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Joan Kelley Walker. She is a philanthropist, entrepreneur, and a mother based right here in Toronto. Joan, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Brad.
Joan, it's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you for agreeing to be part of this movement that I'm working on creating.
Oh, my pleasure. And congratulations on all the success you're having.
Thank you so much. So let's jump right in here. You are a very, very busy lady who wears many, many hats. You are a philanthropist, as I mentioned, a fashion entrepreneur, a mother, a model, a media maven. Where on earth do you find all the time to juggle all this and wear all these hats?
I know it's a little bit crazy. I feel like, one part of the beauty of aging is that you can kind of start to collect things and you really start to figure out the things that really empower you and fulfill you and give you energy. So I find doing kind of a myriad of things really gives me energy and is very empowering. And I feel like all of these roles are a natural extension of who I am. So it doesn't feel like I'm juggling. I just feel like all of those things are connected.
Yeah.
And I'm learning and I'm evolving. And if something was no longer serving me, then I just wouldn't do it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've served as a World Vision Ambassador. How many years have you been doing that? And what inspired you to become part of that organization? Where did that come from?
Well, it's been about 20 years now.
Wow.
And I have to give a lot of credit to my husband because when I first met him, he was already sponsoring several children through World Vision. And then we decided to kind of take on a bigger role. And he was the introduction. So the first thing I did was some infomercials for them, like back in the day when there was infomercials 20 years ago. So I hosted that and I just started learning about the organization. And there's a lot of organizations out there and a lot of NGOs, non-government organizations doing really good work. Mm-hmm. But I really resonated with the approach that World Vision takes. And as a family, we have a certain amount of criteria, like, we want to work in countries where the government is non-corrupt as possible.
Right.
We want to encourage equal education for boys and girls. And, we have our list. And World Vision was very mindful of that and very much on the same page. And they're not there to do things for people. They want to teach people how to do things for themselves. The goal is to get in and get out.
Right.
So, I really felt that was great. And, over the 20 years, I've had incredible experiences going to many countries like the DRC last April, Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, Cambodia, Costa Rica. I forget what even countries I'm leaving out, but the beauty of what I'm doing is I can go and have those experiences and then come back and tell people about it. Because quite often when you make a donation to any organization, you still wonder, like, where did the money go?
Yeah, exactly.
So I actually go and I see and I question and, it's been really empowering for me to have those experiences, to understand the world better on a deeper level, and then to be able to come back and talk to people about it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that happened.
Now, is that you and your husband go on these trips? How old are your kids? You have kids, correct? You have 2 kids?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got 4 actually. I've got 2 stepkids, and then my 2 younger ones are not. They're both in university, so 18 and 20.
Okay, so are the kids involved in any way in these organizations that you participate in?
They're involved in the decision making.
Okay.
When they were very young, I remember going to the World Vision head office and they had put out all these photos of kids that needed sponsoring. And so my kids were involved in, okay, let's take this one, but what about that one? And so of course we ended up sponsoring all of them. And they've been on a couple of trips.
Okay. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, you have to be careful. Like I was on a trip to Rwanda and my kids were not there, but another family was there with their kids. And it was at the 10-year anniversary of the Rwandan genocide, which is, a very difficult situation. So, I'm kind of mindful about that, but, you have to have like a very open communication with your kids. I think, having faith really helps too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've been presented with quite a few awards for the philanthropist work that you've done. Can you tell us a bit about that work and other organizations and some of the awards that you've received for your work?
Yeah, I'm certainly not one to go around and blow my own horn, but some of these awards have just been like really come out of left field, like the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. That comes through the Governor General of Canada, and it comes directly from Queen Elizabeth II.
Wow.
It was to celebrate her 60th anniversary of her ascension to the throne. Right. So she took, I think it was 60,000 of these medals, and she distributed them around all of the Commonwealth countries. So I don't really know how many came to Canada, but the Governor General then distributed them. And honestly, when I got the letter, I thought, oh, well, this is a mistake. They must have meant my husband. So that was very thrilling. And I have like a medal that you wear on your, over your heart, like an army medal. So that was great. And then another one that I got recently was called the Women Who Work Award from the Embassy of Gabon. And, I didn't really know, like I thought they were maybe piggybacking on the work that I do with World Vision and other NGOs, but really it was the work that I'm doing in Canada. So it was so validating and really empowering for me to be recognized by another country like that. Those are just two. Yeah. And, honestly, I don't expect these things. It's really, really lovely when that happens.
Yeah, it's got to feel pretty amazing to be rewarded for the work you do. And not that you're doing it to get rewarded, but just that someone else has taken notice of the work you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think if you're doing anything for this type of recognition, I don't think you're really going to get anywhere.
That's right. So what inspires you to do this kind of work, to do all this philanthropy work? Where did that inspiration come from originally for you?
That's a really good question. I've always been a huge fan of Princess Diana, and I loved the work that she was doing and just getting in the trenches and, being herself and making a difference and lending her voice. And I thought, I'm in a privileged position. Yeah. Being Canadian, we all have a tremendous amount of privilege. Yes. And I thought, I have a responsibility here. If there's a way that I can give back and lead by example, I want to do that.
I love it. We need more people like that in the world, for sure.
And I have, I created the time in my life. Yeah. And I keep coming back to the word empowerment. It's so empowering to not only see the problem, but see a solution and see the light at the end of the tunnel and help share that information. And I talk a lot about World Vision, but we support a lot of other NGOs as well, and other charities, like outside of the country and then within the country and within our region.
Yeah. Now, I also read that you started a program called Starting Strong in Cambodia with your husband. Can you tell us a bit about that program and what the inspiration was behind that?
Well, not to get too far into history, but there was a huge genocide in Cambodia, I guess about 28 years ago. It ended. And as a result of that, people were really terrified and they sort of isolated themselves. So there's a lot of women in particular that are living in a very isolated situation, way out in the country without a lot of interaction. And as a result of that, a lot of women don't have the education that they need. And so the focus of the program is the first 1,000 days of life. So it's prenatal and postnatal care.
Yeah.
And the incidence of stunting, which means that the child's not getting proper nutrition, is really high there as a result of this isolation. So if you can catch the stunting, it can be reversed before the age of 2. After the age of 2, a child will grow up with various levels of mental and physical disabilities because of it. So the program that was created was teaching women that what they eat affects their breast milk, because their diet is largely, rice.
Yeah.
And also, when a child is old enough to start eating, how to teach them to find local, readily available food sources to feed their babies so that they are thriving.
Right.
So that's amazing to go over there and, see the problem, see these terrified women with these lethargic babies, and then see that they're actually getting help. And there's been a network created of women, going out and reaching each other and finding each other and supporting each other and communicating. So yeah, that's been really amazing.
That's pretty incredible. How long ago did you start the program?
That would have been 2016, I want to say.
Okay. Wow, that's incredible. Now, you also write a column and are a regular contributor to Living Lux magazine, which is focused on philanthropy. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. Well, it's great because I have an opportunity to highlight charities that are either local or national or international. And the way that, my approach is always like something personal. I write from the heart. I tell the story. For example, the last issue that came out, I shared a story about my mom. My mom had a stroke recently, and she's now legally blind, and she was partially legally blind before that. But the focus of the article was for the CNIB. So I always try and really get to know people on a personal level and just kind of share my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
And people really resonate with that too.
Absolutely, because it's coming from the heart. It's your honest thoughts and opinions and feelings. So that's going to resonate with people when you're being genuinely honest and open and sharing.
Yeah. Yeah. And instead of just saying, all the facts about an organization, it's good to really share, I think, feelings more, I think people are understanding that and doing that.
Personal story. Right.
Yeah.
That's going to resonate a hell of a lot more with people when it's your own, when you're relating to that. People will be able to relate to that much easier when it's your own personal story.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, you're also known as a media maven, and I've done quite a bit in the media world, from writing as a journalist to broadcasting, hosting, producing, voiceovers. I'm just in awe of all the things you do, Joan. It's crazy. What is it about that world that attracted you to doing all these things? And are you still currently involved as deeply in the media world?
Oh, well, you know what? When I was a young girl growing up in a farming community in Saskatchewan, I felt kind of like a duck out of water because I was so interested in modeling and acting and television and broadcast and producing. And there was really no opportunities there for me.
Okay.
And I still am fascinated of, the way the technology has changed over the years, the approach that people take. I just, I get a real kick out of it.
Yeah.
And, I was naturally drawn to that. And I think, my son just started university and he's trying to figure it out. Like, am I in the right course? Am I, and that's a hard thing to figure out. So if you can tap into that, I think there's a lot of power there.
For sure. It is. It's very hard to, at the age of 19 or 20, to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. I mean, that's a huge decision.
Yeah. Did you know you were going to be doing a podcast?
Hell no. I had to, when I finished high school, I had to figure out, I didn't know. I had no clue, as I'm sure most kids, when they finish high school, have no clue what they want to do. I ended up working for 4 or 5 years. And then I figured out, well, I know I definitely don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So I found something that I was interested in. I went to school for audiovisual techniques, so television production, audio production, things like that. I was in that world, and that really interested me. So yeah, I can see how these kids struggle with making this life decision. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. Or, they're like, well, I'll get a degree in something while I'm figuring it out. Like, how many people are working with a degree of something that they're not working in that field?
Exactly. It's a very tough thing. There needs to be, I don't know, something that makes it a little bit easier, that helps these kids make these decisions,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of guidance, I think, through the schools. There's a lot of opportunity for mentorship.
Yeah.
I think it just takes some people a little longer to kind of like really pinpoint things. And that's true. Okay. That's okay. Absolutely. It's always a process.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you were also a star, speaking of media and television and whatnot, you were a star of The Housewives of Toronto. How was that experience for you, and how did that whole opportunity come to be?
Oh, man. In one sense, it kind of feels like, okay, that happened. Like it was this little bubble in time. But you know what? For me, it was really wonderful. And I think it's a different experience for each person that's on that show. I did learn a lot. There was a lot of opportunities for growth for me personally and professionally. I had a lot of fun, and I really love the part that it was mostly about empowering one another as women. Yeah. As much as, they throw a lot of stuff at you in that show, and you kind of have to be able to like deflect sometimes and walk away. And not going to lie, there were some very intense moments. Yeah. But, all in all, there were 5 out of the 6 of us that walked away being like the best of friends. And I have so much respect for those people.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how did the whole opportunity come about for that for you?
Oh, I got, I think it was an email, like a random out of the blue. And at the time they were calling it Real Housewives of Muskoka.
Okay.
So I thought, well, this makes sense, I guess. I'm in Muskoka, whatever. Yeah. And then it shifted somehow to Toronto, but they still kept me on the list. Yeah. And so there was a big process. Like we had FaceTime interviews, and we had to like fill out these big long questionnaires, and we had a fitness test and a psychological test, and and screen tests, and it was just very involved. Yeah. And I was just so excited. Like I just knew, okay, I want to do this. This is good for me. I really want to do it. Mm-hmm. So I was determined.
And you did it.
And I did, yeah.
Was it just one season?
Yeah, we just did one season. Okay. I don't really know what happened to season 2. It's owned ultimately by NBC, and the production company was out of Vancouver, and Chorus Entertainment they were the executive producers, and they were airing it on Slice. So I don't really know what happened there. We were all greatly disappointed, but I'm very grateful that we had the opportunity to do season 1, because it was really great.
Now you also host a radio show on AM 640. Well, you host a few, but the show in particular, the dating and relationship show, can you tell us a bit about that and some of the other things that you're involved with in the radio world?
Yeah, well, I co-host that with a wonderful woman named Laura Bellotta. Okay. And she's a dating and relationship coach, and she's written books about dating, and so she kind of covers that angle of it. And I've been married for 20 years, so we kind of juxtapose each other that way. Yeah. So it's a once a week thing. It airs on Sunday nights. It's a 1-hour show, and it's talk radio, and we have really interesting guests talking about everything that you could possibly imagine that could affect dating and relationships, like, legalities right now with COVID. If you're co-parenting, how do you manage that? Well, get a lawyer on. Or, how do you know when it's time to walk away, or whatever the topic is. It's really interesting. So I look forward to that every week.
What is it that excites you about being on the radio and being involved in that world?
You know what? I love talk radio. I love listening to talk radio. I love good conversation. I love hearing what people have to say. I love people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though I may not agree with them all. I love when people call in and are so passionate. I think it comes down to the listening.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've also launched your own exclusive brand, the Joan Kelley Walker collection. What inspired you to launch your own line, and when did you launch that? And tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, that was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I kind of piggybacked it on the Real Housewives of Toronto experience, because all of a sudden I felt like there was a big spotlight shining on my head. And that show aired literally all over the world. And I had fans. I still have fans. It's still airing. So we still have fans reaching out from everywhere. And I thought, you know, what am I going to do with this? I don't want to just, you know, use it to grow my Instagram following. I want to do it to make a difference.
Yeah.
So I created a fashion line that, you know, people thought I would do something really high end, really expensive, you know, being a real housewife.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, because I'm from such humble roots. My dad was a grain farmer.
Right.
And I grew up in a small town. I remember babysitting and saving my money and, you know, going in and buying a top, and how exciting that was and how important that was. So I wanted to give a designer brand experience to all women across Canada. So I partnered with Walmart.
Okay.
So we made high fashion, high quality at affordable prices with a great distribution system that Walmart has.
Yeah.
But the thing with my brand is that all of my proceeds, like, you know, people had to get paid, the manufacturer, the licensing and all that stuff. But all of my proceeds went to the Breakfast Club of Canada.
Can you tell us a bit about the Breakfast Club of Canada?
Yeah, well, you know, right now I'm campaign chair for one of their campaigns. With COVID, their numbers have doubled. It used to be they were feeding about 1 million kids a year.
Yeah.
And now it's doubled.
Wow,
so,
that's incredible.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of statistics about, you know, if a kid has a proper breakfast, how much better their marks are, how longer their focus is, how better their attention is, how the bullying goes down.
Yeah.
So it just makes a lot of sense. I'm supporting kids from around the world, you know,
that's
with
incredible.
Other organizations. So Breakfast Club of Canada is national, and I really like that.
Now, would you say that being on the Housewives of Toronto has given you a much bigger platform to increase your philanthropy work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a really big place to launch from. But you know what? That was 2017.
Right.
So since then, we started the brand, and the brand got a momentum of its own, and the brand has carried its own. And there's a thriving fashion community in Canada, and we don't blow our own horn enough. But there's energy, and there's creativity, and people support each other in this industry, and it's really beautiful. And I just jumped in with both feet.
Yeah.
And then the brand really had its own following and its own really loud voice. And people still, I think, are scratching their head saying, you're doing what? You're doing this, and you're giving it all to charity? Like, how does this work? But I want to empower other designers to really think about their charitable giving. And you know, I think we all need to do what we can, how we can, and when we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible what you're doing, and the platforms that you've created for yourself to get the word out there about these organizations and all of your work that you do and helping all these different I think it's absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
So of all of these hats you wear, because you wear a hell of a lot of them, what would you say is one of your favorite hats to put on, and why?
Oh boy. It kind of depends on the day, to tell you the truth. I approach every single thing with the same enthusiasm and passion. And like I said, if it's not serving me, then maybe it's time to make a change there. And I think being able to pivot like that is really, really important. And being able to recognize, okay, what's pulling you down? What kind of things are you resenting that are taking your time? And you have to be very clear about that, although that's easier said than done. But
for sure,
it's something that you learn over time.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, that was my next question, is how do you, with all that you do, with all that you're involved in, how do you be so mindful of not spreading yourself too thin where you don't have any time for Joan or for the family? I mean, how do you do that? How do you juggle that?
Yeah, well, that happens. And I'm certainly guilty of that. I think COVID has been a bit of a blessing because it makes all the important things rise to the surface and all the non-essentials, fall to the bottom. So, I think that's a very mindful thing. And right now I'm very focused on not getting caught up again in it. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
there's a lot swirling around.
Yeah. We always have to make time for ourselves too, because you'll burn out. You have to look out for you too. You have to look after you, because if you don't look after you and you're doing all of these things, you're going to be of no use to anybody or any of these things, right? Yeah.
Yes. Practicing self-love and self-care has to be a big priority. And during all of COVID, a bit of my saving grace has been my workouts.
Right.
And just cooking with my family and spending time with my family. Those things, they're very, very grounding.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to, get rid of the stuff you don't need.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people through all this, and similar sentiments have rung true with them as well, as being able to spend more time with the family and do things like this. My concern or my worry, I think, for people in general would be, are you going to continue doing that? I mean, when we do finally come out the other side of this pandemic, is it going to be possible, or are you going to remember to make time for the family and do all these things you did while you had the time? I mean, life gets busy, let's be honest, and you get caught up in it. So when we do return to some normalcy, do you think that you personally will be able to be mindful and keep those practices up when it does go back to getting as busy as it was?
Yeah, because I have to.
Okay.
I have to. I really need to manage those things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, something falls apart.
Right.
And I've made commitments, and I have a plan that I want to stick to. So you really have to manage that.
Yeah.
And it's okay to say no.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Sometimes I think that this whole pandemic was a great thing to happen. It was necessary. No, of course not all the death and all. No, that's very, very unfortunate. It's very sad. But I think it was necessary for people to get grounded again and to reset back to zero and reevaluate your priorities and everything. My hope is that people, and of course there are going to be people that don't put these practices back into place when things do return to some normalcy. But my hope is that most people will keep those practices in place because it's necessary. I mean, life gets way too busy. People get so caught up in all this shit and things that you don't really need, things that aren't important. And yes, we all need to make money to survive and live and whatnot, but money is not the be all and end all.
Absolutely.
So
well said.
Thank you.
Bravo, Brad.
I just hope that people can keep those practices in place for the most part.
I think a lot of people will make
Do you really?
a big shift. Yeah. I mean, people are kind of used to working from home. It's so practical.
Yeah.
as long as people have their efficiency and their accountability to their employer, I don't see why not. And I think a lot of people that are innovative and self-starters, it makes way more sense than renting an office.
Yeah. Well, I think too, we may find that bigger corporations go the way of, you know what, why are we paying all this money for this office space? We survived this long without needing it. Let's scale back a bit.
Yeah.
And have more
look at the savings. Yeah. Parking
exactly.
and flights and accommodation and all that stuff. Who needs it?
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that's my hope anyway. So let's,
fingers crossed.
Yes, and let's get through this pandemic, although with that second wave looming, who knows how long this is going to be, but we can hope and as you said, keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So, Joan, to date, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
Okay, maybe cheesy answer,
No.
but honestly, it's being a mother to healthy, smart, thoughtful, kind people.
That's
the
not
best.
Cheesy at all.
Okay,
Not
good. Thank you.
No, I mean, most mothers, that's going to be their answer. That is your greatest achievement.
Yeah.
For sure. Raising these little humans to be productive, good citizens in society. I mean, what greater achievement is there than that?
Yeah. And now they're old enough, they're independent, and I just observe the way that they are, and I just beam. I gush. I'm a mom.
Hey, why wouldn't you? You're a proud mama.
Yeah.
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that has helped you become successful as you are, Joan?
It's pretty simple. I think listening, definitely. And, because I work in radio and TV and I interview people and stuff like that, I think, listening.
Yeah.
People don't listen. People are so busy waiting to be heard.
Yes.
The art of listening is, it doesn't seem to be as important, but you get a lot more information and you learn so much more just by, spending the time to actually listen.
I couldn't agree more. A friend of mine has this saying. He says, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
For a reason, exactly. And, for about the past, I think, 15 years, and not this year because we didn't have TIFF.
Right.
I've hosted a show called Red Carpet Diary, where I'm on the red carpet interviewing all the movie stars.
Oh, awesome.
The first year I did it, I was so terrified, and I could feel, I was nervous, and I had never done that. And it's a difficult environment. There's so many media outlets and everybody's vying for their time. But, so at first I was like, okay, what's my next question? What's my next question? I have to keep them here. But then by, like a couple years into it, now it's like, I have to get them in a conversation instead of an interview.
Yes.
And they will stand there and talk to me all night and forget all the other media.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because you don't want it to feel like an interview, like, one question after another, and here you go. You want conversation to flow from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially with these stars. Yeah. Like they've been on how many carpets and been interviewed how many times, and they're so bored of the same questions all the time that if you can just, if you get them asking you questions, then it's like, okay, now we're there.
Yes, exactly. Now we know we're in that comfortable zone. Let's roll with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And their body language changes.
Yeah. They become more relaxed, and it's awesome. If you could go back, would you change anything about how you've done things up to this point?
I think something that's kind of missing with young people nowadays is, planning and setting goals and manifesting, and then, finding mentors and then pivoting. So, I think I fell prey to that. I didn't have a lot of mentors in my small town. I mean, I had a lot of love and support, but I needed to go out and ask people like, okay, I want to be a model. I want to be on TV. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And not be ashamed to ask for those things. I think, at the time I was concerned that people would feel like I felt like I was better than them or something because I
Right.
wanted those things. But those are actually bona fide career choices.
Yeah.
So why can it not happen for me? So I think, there needs to be more talk at a young age about planning and setting
Yeah.
goals. And my husband is brilliant at that.
Uh-huh.
I've learned such a great deal about him. But, one thing to change is I would remind myself to be even more confident and more mindful that you can actually do this and just disregard the people that are the naysayers. Like,
Yes, and
for an
there's a lot of them
example,
out there.
yeah, I had someone in my community someone very influential tell me, Joni, don't go to Toronto. And I think they were afraid that I was going to get caught up and eaten up and spit out.
Right.
And I respected that, but I disregarded them because I came here anyway at a
Yeah.
young age, and I did forge my own path, and it gave me more gumption and determination.
Yeah.
But I also knew that if I fell flat on my face, that I could still go home and that people would be there to pick up the pieces and say, well, you tried.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
you never know until you try. I mean, that's a big thing too, right? We need to teach our kids that you've got to tune out the noise. And if there's something you really want to do, all you have to do is put the work in. It's going to take work. You've got to put the work in, but you can do anything you want. And I think that really needs to be ingrained in the kids from a very, very young age so that it becomes second nature to them.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what's important.
And also, you need to seek mentors, but I think
Yes,
like people in our position, Brad, we need to offer mentorship.
absolutely.
Even if it's just, sitting down for 5 minutes with someone and saying, here's what I would suggest. Like,
Yeah.
those things are important.
Yeah. I find that people are usually, I'm not going to say all, but most people are usually more than willing to help out where they can and offer suggestions or offer mentorship or offer ideas. And I think that people are scared to ask because they're for fear of failure. And that's another big hurdle that I think we as adults too, I mean, because some of us are still, we have the fear of failure and that's natural, but kids as well. I mean, we need to teach them that failure is okay. It's okay to fail. You should fail because then you learn from that. And as long as you learn from that, pick yourself up, dust yourself off and carry on. Don't give up. Keep pushing, keep forging forward.
Yeah. And don't dwell on those failures.
That's right.
Like, leave them in the past, look at them for what they are, use them as a stepping stone and keep going. Yeah.
Everybody's failed.
Good point.
Yes.
Yes.
It's just ingraining that into our kids. Again, I think these things are key when the kids are young to start instilling these ideals in them so that they become second nature as they grow older.
Yeah. Do you have kids, Brad?
Yes, I do. I have two daughters. They are 19 and 21.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they in school?
One of them is in Queen's University. She just went back at the end of August. She came home for the summer, went back for the online learning for the next semester.
Yeah.
And my oldest is living in London, Ontario with her grandmother. And she's working full time right now. She's at that point where we discussed earlier, she doesn't know what she wants to do yet. And she hasn't figured it out. And it's like, well, you know what? That's okay. Take your time and figure it out. You have time. You're only 21. No one says you have to be in and out of university by 23 years old or 24 years old. Take your time and figure it out because I want you to be happy. I want you to do something that makes you happy. And don't go to school just for the sake of going to school. Go for something you want to do. And if school's not your thing, that's okay too. School's not for everybody. Post-secondary is not for everybody. Figure out something you want to start a business, do something.
Mm-hmm. And write it down.
Yes.
I think, having lists is important and having comparisons. Like, here's what I want. Here's what I don't want.
Yes.
Like, once you write it down, it becomes real.
That's
What's that saying? It's only a dream until you write it down or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
good luck to them.
Yes. Well, here's to hoping.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll figure it out. She's a smart girl. And like I said, we've told her, take your time and really put thought into it. Think about what you want to do. In the meantime, you got to do something. So at least work and make some money, but think on what you want to do, figure it out.
Yeah.
Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight as to your character, who Joan is?
Yeah. So one situation on our HOT, on the Real Housewives show, anybody that watched the show will definitely remember this scene because it was probably kind of the pinnacle of the show, and we were building up to that. And I was sitting with one of the other ladies, and she was very upset about something and really aggressive with me. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, no one has ever yelled at me like this.
Yeah.
And my ears were ringing, my heart was pounding, I was sweating, and I was like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Do I retaliate? Do I storm out of here? Like, I don't know what, and these shows, they wanted me to throw wine at her or something, but that's so not drama. Me. So, what I did was I just took the high road and, rise above, rise up, like, get over it. And that scene, I had so many people literally from around the world reaching out to me saying, sharing their stories about being bullied and sharing, how empowered they felt by seeing a strong woman just kind of hold her own and not drink the Kool-Aid and not buy into it and not retaliate. And to take the high road, people recognize that and people resonate with that. And it's a hard thing to do. And believe me, I was shaking. It was intense. But yeah, that was something I was very proud of because it did show my true character. And
so you should be.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, what were the producers and all that? They want drama for the show. So did they say anything to you afterwards or?
Well, it was interesting because most of the time, and you shoot something in a wide shot and a medium and a close up.
Yeah.
And this one, we did one pass at it. And afterwards, the producer and director came over and said, okay, you're done. We will not put you through this again. So that was very kind on their part. But then we have no control over the edit. We don't know how they're going to spin it.
Yeah.
So I was very nervous thinking, okay, what is going to happen with this scene?
Yeah.
But it came out as being, that's what happened. And that's what they showed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. What would you say is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good question. Not to name drop, but I went for a swim one day with Cindy Crawford.
Yeah.
And this is when I was first launching my brand.
Okay.
And I asked her, what advice do you have for me? I've got this new brand. It's at Walmart. It's for charity. And her advice was, the more you are involved, the better it will be.
Huh.
And I really took that and ran with it. And I was all over that brand. I had really good people working with me and supporting me, but I was steering the ship. So I think that's why we had the success that we've had. So thank you, Cindy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
I think it all comes down to self-love, self-respect, getting, trying not to listen to that little voice that's being negative.
Yeah.
So definitely when I take care of myself, that's inspiring and empowering to me.
Okay. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
Well, definitely, it's a pretty basic answer, but keep evolving because it's always about the journey. You never really arrive. As soon as you arrive or reach a goal, there's somewhere else to go and there's something unexpected. So it is about the moment and the journey and just enjoying where you are right here, right now. And that's something that we need to remind ourselves of every day, every single day. Many times a day, I think, there's moments where like, oh my God, I have to, clean up after my dog or my cat or something. That's really great. But it's like, well, this is part of it. This is life. It's reality.
That's it.
And things go wrong in business, but it is what it is.
Yeah. As long as you keep pushing through.
Yeah.
Who would you say have been the three most influential people in your life?
Okay, another cheesy one.
There are no cheesy answers, Joan.
Okay, well, parents, husbands, and kids for sure.
Yeah.
Parents, when you think about your parents are the ones that love you unconditionally forever and ever. Like mentors and friends, can also be there your whole life, but quite often they come and go at different times. Different opportunities arise and different people, appear in your life, but often they recede. So I think your parents are really important, and a lot of kids, it's good to remind kids of that. Like, I'm here. I will always be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
Let's see. Well, I would say success is a process. It's not a place. It's following your heart. And then when you wake up feeling good every day, I mean, that's success. It's when you're doing what you know that you were meant to do, and you're excited for your day, and you only have so much time. How you spend your time is important. Mm-hmm. So, making those right choices is success.
I love it. Now, I know you've mentioned the word empowerment many times through our conversation, and I know you're big on women's empowerment. So I have to ask, what does the word empowerment mean to you?
Well, if you were to say one word, I would say authenticity.
Okay.
But to expand on that, I would say that gives you freedom to be yourself, freedom to follow your dreams, freedom to find that success. Because if you're doing something for the wrong motivation, you're never going to get there. Yeah. So empowerment means your authentic self, and that is empowering.
I love it. Now, do you think that empowerment has become like the new buzzword and everybody's just tossing it around willy-nilly, and do you think it's lost any of its meaning because of how much of a buzzword it's become in the last few years, I would say?
Yeah. Yes and no. I think people are thinking about it more. Like, what am I doing to empower myself? What am I doing to empower others? Mm-hmm. Is this empowering me? So I think it's risen to the surface for a purpose. And I think used properly, it can be really important. And if you're not paying attention to it, then, maybe you need to wonder why. Yeah.
Okay. What would you say is one of your favorite quotes?
Did you watch that TV show, The Office, on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I loved The Office. We sat down, watched it as a family. But at the very end, the last season, the last episode, I think it was, I mean, it's been a little bit of time, but they had a quote that says, "There's beauty in simple things. Isn't that what life is all about?"
Yes. I love that.
Yeah. And I actually wrote it down, and it's such a weird place to get a quote from. I don't know who it came from originally, but I just thought, yeah, what a great way to end such a successful show. Yeah. And just like really keep it grounded like that. I really love that.
I've got a few quick questions for you, just like rapid fire questions. So,
okay. I'm ready.
Money or fame?
Happiness.
Oh, I like that. Early bird or night owl?
It depends on the day and the opportunity and how much FOMO I would get.
What makes you smile?
Puppies, because I have 2 right now, and they're keeping me up at night, and I sometimes wonder what the heck was I thinking, but they definitely make me smile. So you've just recently
gotten these puppies?
Yeah, they're 11 weeks old.
Oh my, I have 2 dogs myself, and I remember the puppy days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It is. What kind of dogs are they?
I got a teacup Pomeranian. Okay. Who's 2 pounds. And
oh, jeez.
Yeah, and he's just so funny. He doesn't realize that he's only 2 pounds. He thinks he's like a German Shepherd. And then I got a little Morkie, a little female, and she's also quite small.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with the puppy stage.
Thank you.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
One word is hard, but I would say non-judgmental.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Aside from necessities, what's one thing you could not go without?
A good hair elastic.
That's pretty simple. That's not too much to ask.
It's true. That and Carmex. Do you know what Carmex is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that little kind of yellow
container. Yep, I know.
I am addicted to that stuff. Those are my two.
All right, we'll give you 2 on that one.
Okay.
If you were guaranteed the correct answer to one question in life, what would you ask?
I would say, and then cue the dog in the background. And
I know.
We're talking about him.
Yeah.
I would ask right now, because it's so timely, about the situation of COVID. Are we going to get through this? It's just affecting so many people. And my mom is so vulnerable right now. And she's in an old folks home. They're taking very good care of her. It's COVID free. Yeah. Mentally, she's very sound, but physically she's very weak. So, my focus is to protect her. Yeah. And everybody else that has been affected by this. So I think that would be my question, because it's so international and it's so confusing, all the information that's out there, and nobody knows, nobody expected this and nobody knows where it's going to go. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think I'm worried about the second wave in the homes, because I'll be honest, I lost my grandmother to COVID. She was in a long-term care facility.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But I think that a lot of work needs to be done with these long-term care facilities. I don't think they are up to standards, a lot of them. She was actually in one of the homes that the Army went into. So,
oh dear.
It's, I think that.
Did you get to see her at all?
No. Oh. Not since the lockdown started, which was in March.
I'm so sorry. That's heartbreaking. And so many families went through
it. Is. And I just think that this whole pandemic has shone a light on what's been going on in these homes. Now, I'm not going to say all homes are like that, but a good majority of them are. When it's for profit, that's what reigns supreme, is money over human life. And I think that this happening, again, another good thing, if you want to say good, can come out of it in terms of having people realize what's going on in these homes and that something needs to be done about it.
Yeah. And the other thing I learned is that, they were relying very heavily on family members going in and doing a lot of the caregiving. So these people were not scheduled. The staff had 4 minutes or 6 minutes or something per person to get them up in the morning, get them washed, get them dressed, get them to breakfast, do their hair, they were just constantly rushing, and that's where the problem is.
Yeah,
for a lot of, some of the problem.
Absolutely. If you were to have a dinner party and had to invite a musician, a politician, a famous couple, and a family member, who would you invite?
Well, I love dinner parties, so I would try and find some pretty flamboyant characters, dynamic people with lots of energy. So I would, for a musician, it would be Freddie Mercury, Prince, Michael Jackson, those guys. Yeah, just level. To, be in the room with them and find out what they're really like, I think would be fascinating. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then for a politician, definitely Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because of all the work that she's done in human rights and women's rights in particular. And she spent her whole life until the day she died empowering people. Yeah. So, I just look up to her, and I love the fact that she's physically such a tiny person, but her power is overwhelming. So, good for her. Love to meet her. And then for a couple, I mean, come on, it has to be Meghan and Harry. It has to be. Come on.
All right.
What are they all about?
Yeah.
And then a family member would be my dad, because he passed 2 years ago, and I miss him like crazy. And he would get a real kick out of everybody there too. He'd laugh his head off.
Awesome. Sounds like quite the dinner party for sure.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say to never compare yourself, like never, like throw out non-essential numbers like
Yeah.
your age, your height, your weight, your number of Instagram followers,
Yeah.
your bank account, like those things, you know, I guess they serve a purpose at a certain level,
Yeah.
but if you're using it as a comparison tool, I don't think that's serving you at all.
Yeah.
So
It's
throw it out.
hard though. It's hard not to compare. I mean, I went through that with my photography business. I was always comparing when I first started out. I was always comparing myself to other photographers. And I would say in the last, I don't know, last year, I guess, I've learned that, you know what? The only competition I have is me. As long as I'm improving, that's all I give a shit about. And it took me a while to get to that point. But I think that, again, this is something that needs to be ingrained in our children from a young age too, because so often kids grow up, and of course in this social media age, seeing all the fake lives and accounts out there that are portraying themselves as this, and they aren't really that. And kids are using that as a standard to measure themselves by. It needs to change. Well,
you know, like with your photography, for example, I think if you're using it somehow as a learning tool, like, you know, if you're comparing yourself to another photographer's work, thinking like, how did they do that? Maybe I can learn how to do that and pick their brain. I'm all for it.
Yes.
But yeah, like look at social media nowadays. It's like, how many followers do you have? How many, you know, how many likes did you get? How many? It's like, that is crazy.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, as soon as you figure out Instagram, now everybody's onto TikTok. And then there's something else besides that.
We're on to the next best thing, right? I haven't even
figured out Facebook yet. Like, I can't keep up.
There's actually a very interesting documentary that's out on Netflix right now called The Social Dilemma. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it, but somebody sent it to me yesterday. So I wanted to sit down with my kids. So have you seen it?
Yeah, watch it. I watched it on the weekend, and it's very, very interesting. It's actually scary when you think about what these people are telling you, but it's a very, very interesting documentary. And even these people that are in the documentary that are talking about, that have worked on all these platforms, they all say they don't let their kids on social media at all because they know what's behind it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to sit down with my kids.
Yes.
Have your girls watched it?
No, they have not. They're not at home, so I haven't. I'll have to reach out and let them know to check it out for sure. Because, like the younger generation, they are glued to their phones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as our generation as well.
Yes, very true. Very true. We have. Yeah, you definitely have to watch it. It's an eye opener for sure.
Good. Yeah. When I hop on the treadmill, if it's, you know, if I'm not outside, I love to get on the treadmill and I watch documentaries all the time. Yes, I
love documentaries too.
Documentaries.
Yeah. So there's a must watch for sure.
There's my next one. Okay. Thank you.
Joan, do you have any big projects that you're currently working on or coming down the pike that you would like to share with the audience?
I do. I have, oh my goodness. Some of it I can't fully disclose, but some of it I can. I'm working on a new collection. It's active leisure wear, which is great because, you know, in COVID, everybody's, you know, wearing their leisure wear.
Yes.
Plus it's workout wear because, you know, I like to work out every day and I do find that very empowering.
Yeah.
And so that's very exciting. I'm also working on a collective and that's coming together with designers from around the world uniting to give back. So more details about that. But I'm also on a TV show called The Social Movement that we're shooting next spring. And it's where they get entrepreneurs together and give them 4 days to solve a social issue. Awesome. So the goal is for this team to come together and come up with a business plan of how to solve the issue. Whatever the issue is, whether it's women's rights or racism or whatever. I don't know which my issue will be, but I'm doing one episode of that. So I'm very excited. And I did a pilot for another show that's coming up. You know, so right now we're kind of like pushing that forward and have no idea if it's going to go or not, but it's fun to do these things.
Wow. Do you ever stop?
No, forget it.
Incredible. Unbelievable. I love it though. I love your drive and your passion, and it's It's incredible. I can hear the energy coming off of you through
Thank you.
the chat, through Zoom. It's amazing. You are an inspiration for sure.
Thank you.
Lastly,
as are you, Brad.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. If you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? And again, it doesn't have to be exactly 30 seconds, but what would your last little speech to the world sound like?
I would say it always comes down to love. So be with the people you love. Love the people that you love. Spend your time focusing on that and focus on yourself. Eat well, sleep well. If you're doing something that doesn't serve you, like smoking cigarettes or something, then why are you doing that? Do the things that feed you and fuel you, like exercise, and do what makes your heart sing.
Awesome. I love it. Joan, thank you so much for being here and sharing a bit of your story, your journey, your insights, your experiences. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show and chatting with you. I appreciate you. And I am inspired by your drive and determination. And it's just, you are an incredible woman. So thank you for sharing with us here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And thank you everybody for listening.
It was my pleasure. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh. I'm the host of your Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest was Joan Kelley Walker. She is a philanthropist, entrepreneur, and mother based here in Toronto. Thanks, Joan. I hope you have an amazing day.
You too. Thanks, Brad.
Talk soon. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.